What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got Albert Nass. Good morning to you. We got Amy. Good morning. Good morning to Bill, Christopher, Kurt, Darren, Dragon, Larry, Lauren, Marius, Martina. Good morning to Michael, Mike, Monica. Ray. We got so many people, so many new people in the house. Good morning to here's his name, S Dash Hugh Morris. I don't. That's like a prince somewhere. That's a royalty name right there. You got a hyphen in there. Good morning, Stuart, Susan, Tim, Virginia. Whew. So many new people today. Very, very crazy. Welcome to anybody new. All my people at YouTube land. Good morning to all of you. We got Edward. Good morning, Daniel B. Jal. Annie is in the house. All my lurkers in the background of YouTube. Not gonna say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Hit the like and subscribe button. Larry says, first time here. Welcome, Larry. Incredible. Susan, first time here. Unbelievable. I cannot believable. Spy. Yesterday, down day. So for anybody, and this is not for this is gonna be a bunch of technical jargon, but I have to go through it because even experienced traders at this point. So a down day is when the price opens at a certain level and closes lower. I have to go through that just because we're not used to that anymore in a bull market. Usually it's just open and then we close higher. Oddly enough, though, we got one, two, three, four red days in a row. Again, doesn't mean that all of those days are actual down days. Um, but we're chasing Boeing. Boeing was doing like a 20-day open higher, close lower scenario. So I don't know. Maybe we're just trying to catch up with Boeing. More than likely, we're just kind of stuck. So we're hanging out. Um, Kind of got a little bit of a deeper sell-off during the day. I didn't really see too much news as to why. Just maybe bulls exhausted a little bit. However, this morning buy the dip still working, so that's still rocking. The close of yesterday, that was okay. So that was a little sigh of relief for some bulls. That probably indicated the buy the dip. We had that last level that we really want to close at is 668.95. So watch that one to the downside for today. That one's still going to hold as a bigger support. Again, we've now been down there. We were able to break through it yesterday. We can break through it a little bit easier today. The next spot, and we were talking about this yesterday in the trading room, but the next spot where that support will come in is 666.98. So we'll watch that one. That should be an important level. The problem with that level is we've already been there as well. So we've already retested that one, just not in a longer term sense, but the very next day after we broke out, October 2nd, we've already retested that. So that can break and a bigger pullback that I'd probably be a little bit more full on bullish to see if we could hold that support 663.46. So two big levels. But for today, watch the VPOC from yesterday. Watch at 668.95 on the SPY. To the higher side, um, to the higher side, we got 670.21. So we're opening right in front of it. Maybe a little bit of a choppy open. We'll see how quickly if we can take it out and how quickly we can do it at 670.21. And then the next big resistance that we got built into the SPY, 671.97. Any closing above that would probably hit an all-time highs. By the way, um, I saw a lot of like sentiment, I guess, comments yesterday, just not just RLT, but like everywhere that I kind of watched stock market news. People were like, okay, this is it. We've already tried predicting the top here. We tried to predict the top. I think this was a top at one point. This was definitely a top at one point. This was a top at one point. We're still trending bullish. We're still above all the moving averages. Honestly, we get one down day, and we'll see if we could go higher. And it's very hard to convince me until we actually get past some of those actual key points. That was those supports, those pullback spots. We start breaking those, then I'm a little convinced. We just put in all-time highs yesterday on that down day that people now start getting a little iffy. So I think it's more of the market is high. We're up there. We can use a pullback. I don't know if this is quite yet it. but just some levels to watch for on the SPY. We got the Qs. Tim says for new members, have you noticed the candle in the real life trading logo? Oh yeah, check that out. Uh, I don't have one handy. Otherwise, I would do a screen share, show you guys. But yep, right in the center of that RL. It took me a while to realize. Q's also down day. Big red day again. End of the world, not really. Still holding into. So I was looking for. Uh, they started hitting the lower levels of support that kind of we have to hold a little bit. So the 603.83 for today, that's still going to be a big one. Before we even get there, yesterday's now support. We'll see if we break this one first. 604.61. And then to the higher side, we got 605.68. So those two levels, that's going to put me into a little bit of a indecisive. I think the market probably chops the beginning portion of the day. We'll see. Watch out for some bull traps, some bear traps. Nothing, not a huge lot of sentiment. I think we still have hopeful bulls, and then we got a lot of Notre Dame's predicting that this is the indeed top of the market. We'll see. 605.78. Watch that spot. If we can break through there, your next spot to a bullish side, 608.51, and then the market can sneeze and get a new all-time high. So we will see. But both little tight range. Again, the market also. Hold on, let me go back to Qs. The market also for the Qs from the last pullback, which was a 2-day pullback plus a gap down. So 3-day pullback. But we just went from 588.69 all the way up to 610 with zero pullback. So even just hanging out here, letting some of those moving averages start to catch up a little bit could make some sense too. So I don't know. Maybe we chop around unless AI, unless somebody mentions AI again. We got Bitcoin is all right. They had a one down day after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days in a row of just straight bullish. We did talk about that inverted hammer. I think we actually was it this one or this one that we talked about? I forget. I think it was this one. So the bear case, and again, I don't know if it's a bear case. I think it's more of a pullback, if anything, after just a outstanding Bitcoin run. Other than that, that was a little warning sign that we had yesterday come in. Obviously, today we are above support. Watch for 121.865 if that breaks down. Maybe we're into a little bit of a longer pullback into 118.945. That would take us probably very close to a 50% retracement, if not this 117.408. So watch that. We are kind of just rebounding, pushing into some of those resistance so far for today. Uh, we've taken out one and we're getting stuck at the other and just kind of chopping. So maybe a slower day also in Bitcoin world. We will see. Where we're not slow, at least not pre-market. Gold jumping up $4, $5, $6. It was only $5 before, so that's actually gotten a full extra dollar. So we have gold jumping into all-time highs again. Yeah, government shutdown. There's also some financial concerns with France and Japan, and again, probably also will benefit Bitcoin from not having a total collapse. Fear of overall currency, probably Bitcoin benefits, but gold definitely on the move. Silver, I think, is also up as well. Yep, so silver also gapping to all-time highs too. So watch those. TLT, let's check out the bond market. They're also getting a nice little bid today as well. TLT actually opening in a good location. TLT I don't really day trade, but it's good for the longer term bonds to see where we're at. So they're they're buying. We got some longer term bond movements, probably lower interest rates. Again, that's probably a little bit positive for IWMs, things like that as well. So for all the new people, just so you guys know the kind of the routine, I'll run through all the markets, and then if you guys have tickers you want to take a look at anything that looks interesting to you, throw that out there. If at any point anybody has any questions, let me know, and I'll definitely try my best to address it. And if it's a longer answer, then I'll try to cover more of it into a slower time when the market's chopping, or we set up a Zoom, we talk about it. We'll get you some answers where we can, or steer you in the right direction. So don't be hesitant to ask questions, comment, say how your day's going. It doesn't really matter. But the more, the merrier. Aklo was the first ticker I seen. We're staring down a double top. Obviously, another remarkable move. From the low end of this one, we went to 66.77 roughly to 144.72. We did have a pullback. We've closed all the gaps. We've retested perfectly. We actually hit a new all-time high. Doesn't mean that this double top holds. It's just something that I would say watch out for. We still have to put in, and we technically did a new higher high on this one. Other than that, for today, not a bad location for open. We're opening above yesterday's support, so the closer you go buy it to 135.38, the better. Otherwise, you do have a decent amount of resistance. Aklo obviously able to get through it prior, but you got 136.90 at a battle through and 139.29. I think if you think you're coming up to this retest, I'm not sure we get to 143.20 today. Aklo does move crazy, but just watch that spot over there. Um, and then anything above that, you're hitting all-time highs again. So I think a little choppy on Aklo for today. Maybe not the same result. Probably I think an inside day candle. We'll see how the market wants to play out on that one. Let's see. Palantir. Bill doesn't want coin today. You feel Bill? Are you feeling okay today, Bill? It's usually coin and Palantir. Changing it up a little bit. You got Palantir is okay. We had this monster down day for Palantir coming in October 3rd. Everything else so far has been inside of that one. I do think that this, and we almost got there, but this 186.37 is a big resistance after that sentiment. So any of the bulls in here, they got completely trapped, not expecting a big candle like that. This gives a lot of those bulls the opportunity to get out. It's actually almost right at the penny. But that gives those bulls a chance to get out. So I think we probably had maybe a little rotation there. Still hanging out for today, but below yesterday's VPOC. Watch for today's resistance around 183.71. Otherwise, a little pullback to 183.21. I don't think that's a really good support. I think you get better support probably somewhere closer to 181.77. So unless we open up above 183.71, I'd probably be leaning to the short side. I think you got better risk reward on that one for today. It's also inside day. It's also a retest gap. So at least to the close, 182.27, but I think comes a tad lower. If not, 180.41 would be your extended target on that one. LRCX. Lurking's in the house. Stop lurking. I'm not forgetting, Joe. Just to get piled on. We still got 15 minutes. We'll cover. We'll cover. We got LRCX is a little bit of a retest gap for today. It is gapping down. It's not at any support whatsoever. I would be looking at flip a coin. You're about 50-50. I think your target to the high side on this one would be 142.19. And I think you have 132.85 roughly to the downside. So you're about a 50-50, not really getting great risk reward either way. Um, I would love to see this one retest first, get as close as possible to 142. That would be my short spot. And then I think you get a lot more room to the downside. So we'll see if this one wants to bounce first and then kind of come down. But you do have a lot of room to the downside. Just almost the same amount of space to the higher side. We'll get this one a little bit higher. But I'm gonna let that one play out first after the bell before making a decision. If it wants to come down, good, I'll go long. If it wants to get as close as possible to that resistance, I'll attempt the short. Although shorts they've been rough in this market. Even J&J I tried short yesterday. That was like the only one that didn't want to go short. You got Roblox that's a nice little gap. Again, piling into a little bit of resistance, 128.23. So I don't know how much runway we have on it, 128.36. And then you got 128.87. Still inside of this candle. This is your last candle that really drove people emotional. And then we kind of almost tweezer bottomed at that support. We're not looking to break it down yet. I think if this one pulls back to like 126.19, there might be a buy spot. I'm gonna probably try to treat this one as almost an inside day candle and see if we get that little bit of a pullback. So 126.25. Otherwise, in a longer term sense, yeah, I think a lot of people are probably looking at that gap fill 133.60. And then before you get there, you have a monster resistance 131.87. So probably a lot of bulls looking for a gap fill on this one. I think the lower you could buy it, the better. I know that sounds common sense, but close to that 126.25 for me would be the spot. All right, we got BMNR for Joe, because he does not think I look at his chat. I do. I promise. We got obviously this one's ETF going to be based around Ethereum. Let's go to Ethereum first. Joe's making me do some work today. Go to a couple before we get to his. Ethereum is same thing, bearish engulfing candle from yesterday. The close was not that impressive. Um, it's kind of closed right into a support. The benefit or the positive for Ethereum right now is you are still right above the 20, above the 50, above the 100, above the 200. They're all stacked correctly. So that's a good bullish sign. Obviously, we're hitting a little bit of resistance. And this is the spot we talked about. We got to get closes above 42, 728.87. Otherwise, you do have a little bit of potential head and shoulders. And I think that was a big concern. We started breaking down. This could also be a overextended retest. So depending on what happens for Ethereum here, and I would have liked to see a little bit stronger of a close, but it is still kind of hanging in there. It's on the fence. But that is also bearish engulfing candle right into a resistance. If Ethereum can recover from here, we start getting above, I think, 44.90.89. Your next move to the upside is about 45, 46, 14, and then I think anything past that, you have a better shot of all-time highs for Ethereum. Let's go back to BMNR. It's been making recently some higher lows, which is good. It's been making just made some new higher highs. We still have a big resistance at 68, 67. So watch for that spot. Yesterday, also throwing in a bearish engulfing candle. So not fantastic sentiment. However, anything above, and right now we're opening slightly below it, so be careful on buying so far. But you got 61.16 all the way to let's call it 61.53. Anything above there, I like it long still. And then you have your support close to 60.05. So anything below 60.05, I would probably hold off on at least buying. You might have a short opportunity to 56.72. That's a decent range. And then more importantly, stay above in a longer term sense, 54.88. So watch those couple of spots. You have a little tiny, if you squint your eyes, you can see a little inverted head and shoulders. But other than that, I think more impressively is that higher low that came in, and we did, in fact, create one new higher high. We'll see if that trend continues. But for right now, that is chop zone for me on BMNR AVGO. That's one I haven't looked at actually in a minute. Good looking hammer off the Hammer Doge off of the 20 EMA. Would love to see this not be a wasted opportunity for the Bulls. I think on a swing trade basis, this could look really good. It has pulled back. I think a lot of probably traders are looking for that gap fill. I think that's a tough gap fill down at 305.38. I think that's with that type of gap up. That's a tough one to fill. You have a little bit of a good double bottom. Nice bounce yesterday off of support. Bulls came in strong right where they should. Again, the only missing equation to this one so far is I would really like to see us. We might not get the gap up past this 335.74 zone. Maybe we have to do it intraday. I think anything above that candle, I think this is a good one to slide up and continue to watch. But anything above the high of yesterday, I think that's a really, really good, at least swing trade, and you could probably day trade it too, where You still have room up to like 340 at that point, so you get a little bit of room there. I like it better as a swing past that. With bigger targets, probably taking us to about 360. So I think that's one for the watch list. I don't know where the sentiment comes in today on it. Maybe we drop a little, pull back to another support. If you're looking to try to buy it lower, you're gonna trade off that. You're gonna get better risk reward, but you're trading off the confirmation. But 332.81 would be your spot for support for today. We got let me see, Serve, SERV. I did buy some more Serve yesterday. I bought some calls. So my outlook on it will be undoubtedly completely biased on this one. Um, but yeah, I think we had a good breakout candle on Monday. I think we had a good gap up. That's still positive sentiment. We never really broke down that candle. We really just kind of pulled back into some decent support. Should have been resistance on the way up. Bulls already proven that they could take that out. For today, it's gonna have a range in it for day trade. I think I'd want this one to come down a little bit, get back down to that $14.16 mark. That would be your best spot to look to buy, and then probably for stops, you're going with like 13.66. Anything under that, you probably come a little bit lower at least to 13.40, and then maybe fill this gap to like 13.16. So day trade wise, give me a small pullback. Otherwise, resistance for today probably going to take us into $14.94. But the trend looks good. I think you had 1, 2, 3, 4 days of buying. One significant, I think it was down what, 6%? 6% at one point. Kind of fought back a little bit. But yeah, I think that was a buy the dip opportunity. It's close to 14 and today, probably close to like 14 to see if we get a little bit of support in this one. And then I also do have covered calls too at 17. So my shares will get taken at 17. And then I went a little further out on some of those contracts. OSCR, UNH as well. We got OSCR is a full retest gap from yesterday. So good gap up, obviously showing decent momentum. Did not hold, but that kind of makes sense. I think that was a profit taking candle. I don't know if this one has fallen enough yet. I would have liked to see a full retest into 2202. I think that would be a strong buy spot if we get there. So we still have some decent room to the downside. However, to the higher side, watch for resistance around 2288. That would be a decent looking resistance spot. So even if this thing gets bought up today, which it could, we covered we did close that gap from yesterday. Maybe we have a chance to break this 2288. I just don't know, so I'm gonna wait for the market to tell me. So if we do start to break 2288, we get some candles that hold. Maybe at that point I'll go long. I'm not gonna go long here. I want the market to show me it could break first. Otherwise, come down to the 2202 zone. I think that's a better buy spot. Bill says, okay, Queen. Let's take a look at UNH. UNH was gapping up. I think it was about $5 pre-market. So yeah, around there, $4, roughly $4 for today. Again, I think all eyes on that gap fill. I think we're just taking time to get there. But watch for 374.44. Again, I was buying the dip a lot lower for the long term, so I'm just going to hold that. I think even here valuation is still decent, although not as good as where it was prior. You also have that 200 EMA. I think that's going to be an issue for the stock, especially after the basically $150 point run that it's just put in. But watch for 378.87 not for today, but in a longer term sense. Otherwise, look for that gap fill. Also, issue with this one is it's a retest gap. So for day trade basis, or even if you're trying to get in longer term, I think you get probably a pullback into the 361.82. So see if this one, I want to be buying shares at open for today, especially knowing that we're not too far away from that gap fill. If it comes down back to this 361.82, that's where support should be, and I'd much rather be a buyer there. And then I think you get a bigger move into that 373 zone. All right, let's take a look at coin, and then we still got some time. We just got a couple more tickers. Yep, ASTS, and then Bull. That's a good one too. Coinbase is hanging out for today. Nothing too crazy. Yep, watch for a little resistance that we're opening right at. If you get above, I think 379.63, then you have a bigger move to 386, but we're opening right into resistance, and there's more room to the short side, 368.45. Plus, we've already been there. That's a little bit easier to get taken out. And then psychologically, I think you're looking at 354.39 to the downside. So a little bit more room to the downside than to the higher side for today. Be careful of just blindly buying Coinbase at open. ASTS is gapping up. I believe they have a deal with Verizon. That's the rumor. They're going to start doing Verizon. All cell phone calls, I guess, will be satellite. People love it. I'm not going to chase this one up here after that run. I would. I think this one has the stupid ability to just keep going higher from here, and if it does, I'll miss it. Otherwise, I prefer to play it short. And then if you're looking to buy, I think you maybe not today, the full on retest, that's possible, but 73.75 would be your target to the downside. This one's got a lot of retail momentum in it. So watch that, but really good deal for ASTS kind of partnering with Verizon. I'm not a buyer there. If it comes down, maybe I'll look at a lower level on it. All right, let's see. What was the other one we had? Bull. Bull. I know a lot of people got Bull. I do too. So what they're saying is today is the end of the lockup period, which means anybody that was an early investor before this company went into IPO as a SPAC, they have the ability to sell their shares, and that's going to drive this one down. Watch for those buy opportunities. I think we've seen this happen a few times. You kind of get that fear and panic. Everybody's going to just bail on this stock. They're all going to run for the exits. Not everybody does, number one. Number two, the ones that do, well, once they do, it's over, and then it's eventual a buy opportunity. I think this one can get down to like 1180. I'd probably be looking, and maybe we got the pre-market. I thought we were under 12. We might have already hit that one pre-market. But that would be a very good retest spot if you get down there, and I think you get some risk reward. I think they were doing like they had like 30%. 32% year-over-year growth. So they do have some decent business. People are also saying they have $1 billion on the sideline for to be able to basically do a shared offering. And I don't think that's what that money is for. I think because they're a broker dealer, that money is fine. I think they have to have that cash requirement, liquidity requirement. They really have. I think they have 113 million in debt, and they have like $1 billion in cash or something like that. So they're not really. I don't think they're at risk of going out of business. I think it's going to be an eventual buy the dip opportunity. I think a swim would like to access my microphone. I don't know. Anyway, that is the morning bell. So everybody in YouTube land.